All right, today's Friday, April 1st, 2022. It's April Fool's Day. Got out of work a little early today, and so we're kind of hitting a crossroads here on the 68. You guys been watching the few videos we put up. So we're kind of at a crossroads here, like I said, on how far to take this car. In my opinion, I think the car should come off the frame, simply because it's 90% there. All that's holding this thing on the frame is the steering column and the body mounts, and that's probably it. So there's no rust repair needed on this car, really. I mean, nothing with the floors, rockers, or anything. Maybe a little patch on the bottom of the fender, maybe 1 inch by 1 inch, and then the rust up here. But nothing major, no big major rust repair. So, me personally, I think, we got a helicopter. Me personally, I think that taking this car off the frame wouldn't cost a whole lot of money. I mean, you break it down and get the thing powder coated, which we get frames down here powder coated pretty cheap, plus all the suspension and rear end. I mean, you're looking at the most $1,500, probably more like $1,200 for powder coat. The owner did say that he was gonna, which the owner is a good friend of mine, it's not a paying customer. He did say that he's gonna do disc brakes in the front. He's gonna do new steering linkage, new idler and pitman arm, and he wants to narrow the rear end to tuck the skirts. So that being said, what's left of the frame? Really nothing. The rear end's got to come out to get narrowed. The front end's got to get bust down for disc brakes. The steering linkage, that's nuts and bolts. That's easy. The steering column needs to come out for a good paint job on the firewall. So there's really nothing left holding the car. So I don't know if he knows we're going to do this, but I'm about to take this thing off the frame right now. I think the plan would be just to yank it out, roll it out, break it down, get it on the trailer, get it for powder coat, pressure wash the underneath and degrease it while it's on the lift, Raptor liner the bottom of the car, rebuild the whole rolling chassis, and then put the car right back on it, and we're done, and you have a frame off car. So I think that with no front clip, with no interior, with no glass, he's going to redo the exhaust. So to me, it's a no-brainer. So I think that's what we're going to do. And so let me get started here. I'm just going to disconnect the hydraulic hoses because I think those run through the trunk. Disconnect the steering column and lift it up and see what we got. I know I probably have to strap it down to the lift itself because it's going to be back end heavy. It's going to want to fall back, so I just put a strap from windshield post to the lift arm when the time comes. So that being said, I'll bring you guys back here in a minute. All right, here we are. I got the steering column out. It was pretty straightforward. It's 2 bolts hold the column to the rag joint, and two of the 4 are just kind of studs to line it up. 2 bolts hold the rag joint to the steering column. Then up under the steering column, or up under the dash, there's 4 studs poking down. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's holding the column up. You got this brace that holds it up down low by the firewall, and then like 4 or 5 little bolts that bolt this dust cover, or I guess you can call it dust cover, to the firewall itself. The steering column came right out, so now we can get a good paint job on this. Take the steering wheel off, of course. We can get a good paint job and then put it back on the car. You can also get a good paint job around the firewall. Around the steering column, on the firewall. All that can get cleaned up now. So moving right along. So now I'm just going to pick it up on the lift, see what it looks like. I did disconnect the rear cylinders and the front cylinders. Plug the hoses with a little JIC plug. disconnect the rear ones so they can fall out here in a second. So let me lift this thing up. I'm going to lift it up by the frame first, take a look at what we got, and I'll bring you back. All right, so here we are. We're on the lift. Looks like you got a rear body mount here. It looks like the exhaust is welded to the frame, so that's good. You got another body mount right here. So 2 in the rear. You got to bear with me here. I've never taken one of these off the frame. Thought we might have had one there, but not so much. Might be one under this. No. Okay, good. So 2 in the rear. Might have to look this up on Google before I actually do it. Obviously one right here at the firewall. The e-brake stuff, we're gonna have to figure that out. But shouldn't be much. We're gonna have to disconnect the gas tank. The gas tank is bolted to the body. So we're gonna leave that bolted to the body. We're just gonna disconnect the line on the frame. Looks like both of them. Maybe one is some sort of return or something. So I'm gonna look up real quick how many body mounts. I'm assuming there's probably like 8, and we just saw 6. Plus maybe 2 more up front by the radiator. So let me do that. Then I'm gonna start loosening them and see. It's a really tight fit right here on the hydraulic rack. So we might have to maybe make that hole a little bit bigger when it comes time. That's a really tight fit. But yeah, let me start loosening some body mounts. All right, so here we are. Got the e-brake out. That was quite a pain in the ass because I didn't want to cut it. But I was able to get it. It took about 30 minutes, and then it looks like it's six body mounts. So you have 2 up here. That one has a bolt and a nut or a cage nut type deal, and I think that one is just a bushing. There's no bolt there. So you have 2 up front, 2 on the radiator support that have previously been taken out, and 2 on the back each side. So a total of 6, I believe. They came out pretty easy. The far back ones needed impact, and the ones inside by the spring perches were pretty loose. These up front gave some hell. They were spinning. They got some sort of cage nut in there. Disconnected the gas tank, disconnected the rear hoses. So this thing should lift off the frame. So the e-brake is disconnected. Disconnected from the body. It has some tabs under there that hold it in place, the cable. I think that's it. So I'm going to reposition the lift to on the body. I'm going to strap the front end down and then see if it lifts up. Bring you guys back. All right, well, here we are, about 2.5 hours later. Pretty much things went as planned. I missed a pair of body mounts right here. And basically the lift arm was kind of hiding that from me. So when I went to go lift it up, the front came up, but the back wasn't. So crawled under there again and found those. I didn't even bother Googling, but I did miss those. So ain't no turning back now. Floor is really really good, man. I think just maybe some degreaser and pressure wash. Probably pressure wash it right here. Frame is good. This thing's gonna sandblast real easy. Man, yeah. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm thinking, because we kind of need to get this thing out of the way, so I might park it on the trailer for now, because, or I don't know. Got to do some thinking. Right now I'm kind of excited. I had to strap it down right here, and it's barely hanging on, but it's strapped tight, so it ain't going nowhere. But it's not like the 64. The frame is right here, so you don't have much room. Maybe I can get it here, but then again, it's real tight to the frame, so it would help if I had some different mounts. But that's a wrap. Big surprise, but I think this is about as far as we're going to take the car. I'm going to bust it down and get everything powder coated, go through everything. Looking forward to it. So bring you guys back, I believe, tomorrow. Tomorrow is finish welding the firewall, mold it down, and possibly maybe start breaking down this frame. I really don't want to break it down in pieces. I kind of rather knock it out in one day, throw it on the trailer, and get it on the way. So we'll bring you guys back tomorrow morning. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. All right, today's Saturday, April 9th, 2022. I'm going to be putting some work in again on the 68, where we left off last weekend. We grinded down the firewall, smoothed it out a little bit, got it in some flat black rattle can to prevent it from flash rusting in the welds. So today we're going to start on the tear down of the frame, and hopefully get about halfway in that. And then I bought some materials over here to make a body cart. I got some leftover wheels and bought some box tubing. So we'll make a body cart for this thing. Actually, we'll make a body cart for the next 3 cars, fully adjustable. Pretty simple design. I'll bring you guys back once we get into the specifics on that. But that's today's plan, is to get this thing on a body cart. That way we can at least move it around, and then start breaking down the frame. Front end should go pretty easy. That's probably today's goal. And then the back end, we have to figure something out with that rear end and see what we want to do. But that's today's plan. Like I say, break down the frame. Pretty simple. This stuff should fall apart pretty easily because it's been taken apart before when they installed the hydraulics. So it's not like it's, 50-year-old gunk. It should break apart pretty easy. He did order the disc brake kit, so that's good. We do have a sample of the paint, so that's good. We're going to maybe do some spray out here next couple days, get an idea of what's going on. So we're moving right along. Bring you guys back once we get some work. All right, so we got the front end broke down here pretty much completely. Just going to take the spindles and steering knuckles off the drums because we reuse those with the disc brake kit. These rear arms or lower arms are already plated on the bottom and molded, so the guy did a good job on that. So what we're going to do next is wheel this out. Got it on the skates, and knock the rear end out. Possibly throw it on the trailer, or at least get it out here in the grass. And then that's probably it for today. Didn't get as far as we wanted to on the body cart, but we did get the pieces cut and got some wheels mounted. But it's going to be our future body cart right there, nice and tucked away. So, you ready to knock this rear end out? Yep. So we'll bring you guys back once we get that out. So here we are. We got the frame broke down, bare bones. Anything you want to say about it?
It's a real good fit. But we're broke it down. Probably gonna ship it out to get it powder coated in about 2 weeks. Maybe a week to 2 week turnaround time on that.
Yep.
Have it ready. By that time, we'll have a bunch of parts on order. Suspension, disc brake kit, maybe need power, steering linkage, and gearbox. Maybe.
Yeah. But like he said, it's in really good shape, man. It's like you don't need any repair on this frame at all.
A good sandblast and powder coat, man, looking like brand new.
Yeah, it's looking like brand new. This frame was a little tricky to take apart, man. Like for one, the trailing arm bolt right here, like there's no access. The access under here is really tight. It'd have been a whole lot easier if GM put a hole right here to get to that bolt.
Yeah.
Instead, and it's a 15-16 bolt.
Yes.
Or a nut, which that's a big size.
You need an open-end wrench.
An open-end 15-16
Yeah.
to fit that.
Just slide it in there and just kind of grab it at a certain angle.
Yep. And also on here on the uppers, there's no room here either. So that's like another,
Well,
it's a big size.
It's got the bracket that you can take off complete, and it'll take them off, and then you just unbolt it from there.
So it's going to gloss black?
Gloss black. Maybe
Or
semi. Maybe, yeah.
Satin or something?
Little satin, something not as shiny,
Okay.
not as hard on the eyes.
So then we got all the suspension over here. Not quite 100% broke down, but for the most part. Still got to bust the A-arms down and the trailing arm bushings out. The springs are getting coated, the donuts and the deep cups are getting coated. We got to bust this apart, get the spindles and knuckles out. And we still got to gut the rear end, so we'll probably be doing that maybe next weekend. But the good thing is the suspension is all molded.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, I have a question for the audience. If anybody out there, please comment if there is a nicer alternative to those lower arms, man. Those banana looking arms.
You don't
not
like
really my style, but
the trailing arms are all
trailing arms are nice. Yeah.
They're all molded now. Uppers are molded, lowers are molded. Did a good job.
Yeah.
Springs, I don't know why they have these got to be at least 3 ton in the back. Way too much coil for the back. That's probably why I had accumulators in the back. I bet that thing rode like a school bus on square tires.
Yeah, all that's gonna have to get reworked. Need probably different springs.
Yeah.
May run shocks again. May go four accumulators all the way around.
Maybe.
You know.
So on the disc brake kit, you got to keep the original spindles and steering knuckles. Disc brake kit's on order. Rear end, we got to figure out what we're gonna do on the rear end. We're gonna marinate on that for about a week because it's not a 64. So the axles, they have to be either machined or buy new axles.
Yeah, new splines. Again, if anybody out in the comments has any suggestions, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All comments are welcome, and we take constructive criticism.
Yeah. So next up, for this maybe during the week, I'll bust all this stuff down, like all the bushings, all that. It's got to be really bare. Some of the bushings are okay, some of them are shot. Just got to kind of go through each piece, see what we need, and then put that thing on a body card and start sanding it.
Yeah,
The body.
Yeah.
So, what turned into a quick paint job got a little out of hand.
Molded firewall.
Molded firewall,
We
yeah.
just, of course, it needs this body work, filler, but it's complete.
It's getting the moonroof. I know some people watch Instagram, some people don't, but it's getting a 44-inch moonroof on the fastback. Yep. So,
Some people say it can't be done.
Oh, we can do it.
We're wrong.
we can do it. We got a secret tool, secret trick. But yeah. The good thing when we broke down this front was that it was already with hydraulics, so we didn't have to mess with no coil spring compressor, no dangerous stuff like that. Man, the whole cylinder spring basically just came out.
Yeah.
Same with the back.
The ball joints, I mean, it took one little tap and they fell apart.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, since the car had been worked on with the hydraulics, everything had already been taken off. So at one point, so it's not like we're working with 40 or 50-year-old rusted bolts. So, I mean, we broke the whole thing down in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
The whole frame in 3 hours. Everything. So, I think that's going to be pretty much the end of the teardown videos of this car, and now we'll start the rebuild.
Yeah.
Yep. So, y'all stay tuned. Bring you back next weekend.
Start the roof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, all right.